that I don't want to mess with updating just yet. But yeah, I'm back with an update on my trains and a couple of other things related to my base and train grids. So I'm gonna just cram them all into one video and talk about them. All right, check it out. This is my train grid base right here. It's gotten pretty big since I kind of featured it in some of my other videos. I didn't really cover the whole thing, but it's gotten quite a bit larger. I'm trying to get 1,000 science per minute of all the science types, and I'm still working on space science over here. All the rest of them are already at 1,000, but because of my supply is not really abundant enough, it can't really run 1,000 of all of them at the same time because I just don't have enough copper or iron coming in. But yeah, it's still pretty cool. Check out the progress I have on here. I've saved screenshots and made these images from them. So check it out. This is one of the first times I featured it. This is when I still had the normal progression going on here, where I was trying to get my rocket off, and then I just kept adding more and more to this grid, and moving everything into this. Now here's where I started adding my train depots. You can see that's the smart depot. I only had this one small nuclear power setup going. Only a couple of pieces here. I still have the whole progression of the normal factories, and then I have to get over there and get some oil, and I just keep adding to it. I've got more trains going off the screen. Now this whole area ends up being my base. This whole area. See, look over here. This is a stone mine, and it just keeps getting more and more. There used to be an iron mine right here. Then I went with thinner depot lanes over here. You can see that transition. Let me go back. Yeah, so it goes from these thick ones, go to the thin ones, cram, like twice as many in, and it just keeps going. My nuclear factory got bigger. Oh, now I got another one. Got more blocks. And now I'm starting to move more and more of the things into the new grids instead of just spreading them out. I've actually deconstructed all the original factory and have been moving it piece by piece into these grids and laying out more and more of them. And don't worry, I'm going to get into the updates on the train system as well in just a sec here. I just want to go through this slideshow. But yeah, see, check out up here. It's getting further and further out. This area here that used to be like well outside my base is the factory's almost caught up to it, and now it has. But it's in the way because there's still a ton of stone there. I don't want to just throw it out or pave over. So it's just getting bigger and bigger. And these are big files, so they take a sec to load. Is that the end of them? That might be the end. No, there's still more. I don't know how. These don't go all the way up to current because I made these some time ago and I've kept playing since then. Just add more factories in. There's another depot. See, now I've got 4 depots. These 3 are all on the same name. They all have their own smart computer. And this one over here is just for science trains. It's got a different depot name. So the trains for the sciences, they don't mix in with the rest of the trains. Just because most of the science stuff is around over here anyway. So there's no need to have them go all around the rest of the base. Nuclear power, and it just keeps getting bigger. Factory must. Oh, that was the last of them. Yeah. So yeah, check it out. This is almost current, not quite, and then this is when I started taking the saves. It's a big difference. Anyway, let's go back to the game. Yeah. So here it is today, and yeah. So I've expanded all the way to each corner of this, and this is gonna be my space science, and I've ran out some of the ores and kind of retracted my rails back out. I'm still kind of cheating. I use water, but oh well, trying to enjoy a different part of the game. But yeah, check it out. The stone's almost gone. It's still here. That's a hefty amount of stone. Anyway, so yeah, let's get into some of the other stuff. The train system. I've made a couple of updates. Mostly since the 0.9 release, it's been perfectly functioning, except for one minor thing that I noticed. If you have a whole ton of trains and you barely have enough depot lanes and you've got them spread out here and there, sometimes trains will try to path into a stall that's already taken. So what I've done to change that is I've just changed the settings on the station itself to disable it. If the train is if there's a train here at all, it'll disable. So you can see on the screen here, you see the ones that are occupied are red. They're offset. Oh yeah, so like this is the depot. That's the title for it. Yeah, the ones that are occupied turn red. You see that one just turned red because the train arrived. This way, if another train is thinking about going into the same lane, it'll go somewhere else. So that's pretty much the only real change that I've needed to make. And I also updated these computers. These are the old ones that I haven't changed because I'm already using them and I didn't want to really mess with them. I guess I should, just for testing's sake, but I haven't. But basically, the other change is on the depot computer itself. Let me plop this over here somewhere. Oh, that hurt. Pay a little more attention. I'm gonna plop this over here somewhere so I can just talk about it. I had these correction circuits that were placed right here and here in case the counters got out of sync. Not the counters, like the memory cell got out of sync, and I could adjust it with the correction circuits, but I never used them. They were completely unnecessary. So I got rid of those. I got rid of the ones up here, and I moved this main counter down a little bit, and I incremented it to 120 because I got more signals that it can send now. And then I updated these to send more signals by default. I've got almost everything you would ever want to send in the vanilla game already predefined with its own index, and they're all even like the way they have to be. I left a space there because these are all in a different page. So I more or less went page by page. I added all of them, and some of them you'll never use still, certainly. So if you want to replace them or you want to add more, if you got a mod, you just keep chaining them, and then you just keep adding this increment. You just increase this to be higher than the highest index. So I've got the highest index right now is 118. So I've got the counter at 120. Make sure it's always taller. And there's a couple other things that I could talk about. I was talking to one of the users on YouTube, and he said that the way he did his, instead of having a second depot, what he did is he just ran these wires at the end of the chain here, the end of the signaling for all the lanes. He just ran an extra red and green wire off and chained them separately, not as part of the main network. He chained them separately and ran them down here and didn't run this connection instead. So basically it's as if he's just got one really long depot with twice as many lanes. You could do it that way too. There's less chance that you'll have a collision where there's more than one signal being sent out at the same time on two different depots. But I've never run into it anyway. I haven't had that collision issue anyway. So I think it's unnecessary, but it's something you can do if you want to do it that way. It's cheaper because you don't need to make all these same circuits. It might be easier on the UPS or whatever, but I'm not really hitting any limits there, so I'm not worried about it. Watch out for the trains. So let's see. So that's one change that I've made. I think that's pretty much every change that I've made. I covered them all. The station one, the computer one, the presets. Yeah, that's it. So also another thing that I've released that you could use along with this system, by request, people were asking for the tracks that I use, and this is them. I've got just one little book of a handful of them. I modeled these after a video I saw, but he didn't release any of his blueprints, and I didn't know any of the measurements, so I came up with this one instead. It's probably pretty similar, but there's some differences that I'll talk about, and I'll just talk about how to use this one. And let me get back to the blueprints. So the idea is you've got these four-way junctions that are at the intersections on the edges of these blocks. And the cool thing about the blueprints is they come with all of the landfill that you would need if you were going to put them on water. You see, I've put all the landfill under them. So if you were going to try and pave any of this across water, you could just lay it down, and it would put down all the landfill blocks you need also. And it's like that on all of these. So yeah, you put these on the intersections, and I've designed it so you've got two of these that go on each edge. One of them lines up like right here. It goes from the junction halfway across, and then you put another one. You flip this around and you lay this one like this. You overlap the electrical pole, and it lines up just right. So that's how you use that. You use two of them per edge. And this piece right here is intended to be like a guide for the inside of these blocks. The side that has the 4 wide brick goes on right here, and the dashed line goes on the inside. And you put 4 of these inside of a block, and you don't overlap the dashed edge. You have two. It's too wide in the middle. So you do that on all the inside of these blocks, and then if you've lined all that up just right, the 4x straights and the blocks will all line up with these 2-car stops. You got 4 of these 2-car stops. You line them up just right there where the end of the curve on the junction is. You line this one up, and then you overlap, and you overlap, and you overlap. And if you did everything else right, it'll come out perfectly lined up with another junction. And that's pretty much the whole thing on that. Let's see, I've got stops. I've got another one that's just if you need to make long distances out in the middle of nowhere, away from your grid. I use that in areas like this. The 2x straight. It just goes and goes and goes. And also, all of these, like I said, have the landfill under them, so you can easily pave over the water with this. And this is I don't think I saved this in the. This might not be saved in the blueprint that I released, but this was for setting up my depot access, so I know exactly, how to line these up in the middle. Yeah, actually, that might be saved. And that's pretty much all of that there is to that. Works really well. I sized all of this for specific size trains, so just keep that in mind. None of this might be perfectly ideal for everybody's interests, but works well for me. I've been running this for a long time. I don't even know how long. I used to have a mod that said, but I tried to cut down on a bunch of my mods, so I don't have it anymore. But it's working out great. The train system's working out great. I really like it. It's totally vanilla still. A handful of people have started to tell me they've been using it. I'm surprised this really hasn't taken off more, because I searched and searched for something that did exactly this, and I couldn't find anything. And so I had to make my own. So I'm surprised nobody else has come looking. Hopefully they'd be able to find this if they were looking for it. But anyway, yeah, it's really cool. Like I said, one of the main features of this is that you don't have to have stackers before all of your other stops, and you don't. All the trains stack here like they're supposed to. It works great. No stackers anywhere else. No clustering. No gridlock. All the trains just zip all along the grid freely, practically never waiting. Occasionally they wait to go in the depot over here, but only for less than seconds. I mean, just seconds. It's been pretty awesome to watch. It's sometimes fun to just watch the trains zip all around. It's really kind of mesmerizing, and it makes me feel a little proud because I was able to get them to run so smoothly. But yeah, that's it for the video today. I hope somebody's enjoying this train system and some of these blueprints. I'm going to update all of these on factorialprints.com and post a video on Reddit. Y'all have a good one. Like and subscribe if you're into this kind of stuff. It looks like more people have been interested in the Factorio train system lately, so I might make some more Factorio content. So have a good one. See you around.